This is a time before you have radar. You also don't even have sonar, which was an important tool for pinging out ahead of you and seeing what lay beneath the water. Because remember, an iceberg only sticks up so much. The bulk of it is down below. One of the great ironies with Titanic is that it was a Canadian inventor, Essendon, who, looking at all of this, came up with a system that he first proposed to send a sonar ping out ahead of a ship to try to find an iceberg and to avoid it. One of the great things they found when they tested it just before the First World War in 1913 is when they pinged for the ice ahead, they had another echo, and they realized that the ping had also hit the bottom of the ocean and bounced back. That's the origin of the technology that ultimately would be used to find Titanic in 1985.
Are you ever conscious of the fact that this is indeed a graveyard? It's hallowed ground, if you will?
I certainly got it on my first dive to Titanic. I think what confronts you is the realization that this isn't just a movie, this isn't a book. When you're moving along the decks, you get to the boat deck area where the davit is still in place for lifeboat number 8. 8's a pretty important lifeboat, not because of who got in it, but because of who didn't. In this case, it was a couple, Isadora and Ida Strauss, rich, famous. She could get in the boat, as could the maid, because they were women, and it was women and children first, but Mr. Strauss could not. And Mrs. Strauss didn't want to go without him. So she got out of that boat, and the officers tried to get her back in, but she said something pretty powerful, and that was, she and her husband had been married for more than 5 decades, and she loved him. And where he was going to go, she'd go. And they went and they sat down on a bench, and they died together.
I think that's the great benefit that archaeology brings to us. These are indeed people with real lives.